In the shadow of the San Francisco Bay Area, where fog clung to the streets like a shroud, a phantom began to weave his terror into the fabric of everyday life. It was the summer of 1969, a time when the world was already fracturing under the weight of Vietnam, civil rights battles, and the fading echoes of Woodstock. But in Northern California, a new nightmare emerged. One that didn't just kill, but mocked, taunted, and demanded an audience. This was the Zodiac Killer, a faceless monster who turned murder into a macabre performance, broadcasting his atrocities through letters laced with ciphers that promised secrets and delivered dread. The horror ignited on December 20th, 1968, along the desolate Lake Herman Road. A young couple, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, parked under the stars for a quiet date, only to be gunned down in a hail of bullets from an unseen assailant. No robbery, no motive, just cold execution. The case went cold, a tragic footnote in Vallejo's police files. Then, 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, fireworks lit the sky over Blue Rock Springs Park. But beneath the celebrations, Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau sat in their car, vulnerable. A man approached, shone a flashlight, and opened fire. Darlene died. Michael survived, whispering to detectives about a stocky figure who fled into the night, muttering, "I want to kill people." Panic rippled through the community. Who was this predator stalking lovers' lanes? The answer arrived not from clues at the scenes, but from the mailboxes of 3 newspapers: the Vallejo Times-Herald, the San Francisco Chronicle, and the San Francisco Examiner. On July 31st, just weeks after the park shooting, identical letters postmarked from San Francisco landed on editors' desks. Typed in block letters, they bragged, "I am the killer of the 2 teenagers last Christmas, 6 at Lake Herman, the girl on the 4th of July near the golf course in Vallejo." Proof came in gruesome detail only the killer could know. The positions of the bodies, the ammunition used, but the letters didn't stop at confession. They escalated, threatening a weekend rampage. Crews sick around all weekend, killing lone people in the night. What chilled the blood most were the enclosures. 3 pieces of a cryptic puzzle, a 408-symbol cipher split evenly among the missives. The writer demanded it be printed on front pages, or more lone people will die. Each sheet bore a strange symbol, a circle bisected by a crosshair, like a gun sight or an ancient astrological sign. "This is the Zodiac speaking," the letters signed off, birthing a moniker that would haunt headlines. The cipher, he claimed, held his identity. Editors, torn between ethics and the stakes of innocent lives, published it. The clock ticked. Would the code crack in time to stop the slaughter? Enter Donald and Betty Harden, a schoolteacher and his wife from Salinas, poring over the symbols at their kitchen table. No cryptologists, just determined amateurs armed with graph paper and intuition. They spotted patterns, repeating symbols for common letters, a homophonic substitution to throw off frequency analysis. On August 8, 1969, after a frantic week, they broke it. The message unspooled like venom. "I like killing people because it is so much fun. Killing something is so much fun. By the way, have you cracked the last cipher I sent you? This is the Zodiac speaking." No name, just philosophy. A deranged theology of murder as a ticket to paradise, where each victim became a slave to serve him in the afterlife. The stakes had skyrocketed. This wasn't a random killer, but a showman scripting his saga, with the public as captive audience. The Zodiac's curtain call was far from over. On October 11th, 1969, in San Francisco's Presidio Heights, cab driver Paul Stein picked up a passenger at 9:45 p.m. A single shot to the head, and the killer coolly wiped down the cab, pocketed a wallet, and tore a swatch from Stina's bloody shirt. Souvenir or proof? Witnesses glimpsed him. White male, 30s, stocky, glasses, but he melted into the night. 2 days later, a letter arrived at the Chronicle, enclosing that shirt fragment. "School children make nice targets," it warned, sketching a school bus with slashed tires and children spilling out like confetti. the drama intensified. Lives hung on every postmark. November 8 brought the dripping pen postcard to the Chronicle. A Halloween-themed card with blood red ink, demanding front-page space for another cipher. The Z340. 340 symbols in a 2017 grid, more complex, transposed and rotated to defy solvers. It teased the killer's disdain for a TV appearance by a suspect. For over 5 decades, it mocked the FBI's codebreakers, who threw supercomputers at it in vain. The Zodiac's letters poured in like poison. November 9th, 7-pager boasting of evading police post Stein, complete with a bomb diagram threatening a school bus obliteration. December's plea to attorney Melvin Belly, I cannot remain in control for much longer, laced with another shirt swatch, a feigned vulnerability that fooled no one. By April 1970, the taunts turned personal. A letter to the Chronicle opened with, "My name is," followed by the Z13, a 13-symbol string, dangling identity like a carrot. Solvers worldwide clawed at it. Proposals like AEN for Alfred E. Newman of Mad Magazine fame, a sick joke fitting the killer's twisted humor. But it remains locked, a 54-year riddle. June brought the Z32, paired with a Phillips 66 map of the Bay Area, a crosshair at Mount Diablo. Set the code so it will be good for a lifetime, the letter crowed, hinting at buried treasure or a bomb site. Radiance from the mountain? Inches along spokes? Treasure hunters scoured hillsides, nothing but echoes. The letters didn't cease with the ciphers. July 1970 parodied Gilbert and Sullivan's The Mikado, listing 12 potential victims by initials. Did one match journalist Paul Avery, who soon received a "Peekaboo, you are doomed" Halloween card? Avery, spooked, pinned a "I am not afraid of the Zodiac" button to his lapel and packed heat. The killer claimed 37 murders by 1971, far beyond the confirmed 5. An exorcist letter in 1974 praised the film, signed with a cross circle in felt-tip pen. Then silence, a void more terrifying than the noise. For 51 years, the Z340 stood as a monument to failure until December 2020. Amateur cryptographers David Orenchak, Jarl Van Eyck, and Sam Blake, using Ace Decrypt software and diagonal reading tricks, unraveled it. I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner because I now have enough slaves to work for me. No name, just more bravado, echoing the Z408's afterlife obsession. The FBI confirmed it, but the Z13 and Z32 endure, ghosts in the machine, fueling podcasts, films, and endless theories. The Zodiac ciphers weren't just codes, they were weapons, turning investigation into a game where he held the rules. They amplified fear, eroded trust in authorities, and immortalized a killer who craved eternity through ink and symbols. Over 20 letters, postmarked from payphones and suburbs, kept a region paralyzed, schools on lockdown, lovers off the roads. Suspects rose and fell. Arthur Lee Allen, the burly parolee with Zodiac watches and cipher interest, denied it till his death in 1992. DNA, fingerprints, nada. The stakes? A killer who might still walk free. His final cipher, a middle finger to closure. Yet in that defiance lies the hook. What if the Z13 spells your neighbor's name? What if the Z32 points to a shallow grave? The Zodiac didn't just murder bodies, he slew certainty, leaving us to chase shadows in a cipher's gleam. His letters haunt not because they're unsolved, but because they remind us. Evil can code itself into legend, and some doors, once locked, stay shut forever.